video games. Welcome to Filthy Casuals, a podcast about video games, hosted by three very kind and extremely knowledgeable boys. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Tommy Dasilo. With me, as always,
Ben Vanel here on a wild and woolly night. There's rain beating down. It's dark outside. There could be monsters at the door. Who will defend us from such creatures?
Oh, I thought you would do like a weather reporter voice at first. I was like, this is way off.
Yeah, it's a sexy voice.
No,
like a weather reporter.
My name's Adam Knox, and here's the weather. I'll do a real one.
look outside if you need inspiration.
There's a satellite delay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Adam, are you there?
Hi, Jim.
Adam?
Yeah, go ahead.
I hope he's one of the weather reporters that like gets swept away on one of the roving report things. Like a sign falls on him because it's so windy.
We're just wondering...
I'm not one of those.
Okay,
I've got my finger in my ear.
Yeah, you're really committing to the bit.
I got my thumb in my ass.
You know what would be cool? You know, on the news...
21 degrees.
Wow.
On Christmas
Yeah, that's
Eve.
way higher than
It feels like about 12.
Yeah, it's about 3.
On Christmas Eve every year on the news, they often do a bit of a check-in with old Santa Claus.
Yeah.
What if they did that? What if they committed to the idea that kids are watching the news every night of the week? So if the weather guy was like, pretty cold and windy out there, watch out for boogeymen under the bed.
Oh.
You know, if they were just doing shit every night of the week, they had to have some little, pretense that the imagined is in fact real.
Okay.
I reckon if you're young enough that you're believing in Santa, you shouldn't be watching the news.
I agree.
That's a
My
good
opinion.
point.
There's a lot of horrific shit on the news.
Yes.
Like Donald Trump's hairstyle.
And that orange skin. Yuck.
Yeah.
Oh, bleh.
I call him Drumpf.
Well, speaking of atrocities of the modern world, thanks to everyone who came out and checked us out on tour over the
Yes.
last couple of weeks.
Yes.
In Melbourne and, of course, Sydney over this last weekend.
The two capitals of the world.
Yes.
Yes.
It was great to meet all you guys. Only the second time for this podcast up in Sydney. So great to see all the... a lot of the New South Wales contingent of the filth. We had
Yes.
some people travelling from outside of the capital city of Sydney. A good time.
Yeah. It's
Fun
fantastic.
show. Shout out Alexi Toliopoulos for coming and joining us.
Slotting in very well with the vibe of the show, I felt.
Yes.
On the way home from getting the train to the airport,
Yes.
I got the train from Circular Quay, and a guy sat down in front of me, and he turned around to me and went, "Did you get to the moon?" And I went, "What?" And he was like, "Did you get to the moon?" And then he started to look confused, and I was like, "What? No. What do you mean?" And he was like, "Oh, do you study engineering?" And I said, no, I do not. I'm the furthest away from that. He's like, "Oh, I thought I was talking to you earlier." And then I looked down the train carriage.
Oh, yes.
And there was a guy who looked like me in the sense that he was a big fat man with a beard.
Right.
Who had clearly been the man that this old guy was talking to.
Fuck.
And he was
So
like,
this-
because we were talking about the moon because of Apollo. And I was like, okay, I don't know anything about it.
So when he said, I was talking to you earlier,
Yeah.
I thought this was going to be a story of like, this is someone he hasn't seen in 6 years.
No.
It was literally the same day on this same train trip.
Maybe not on the train trip, but on the platform or something or nearby.
Still within the last 15 minutes.
And whatever had happened, they clearly left it on this guy saying, maybe one day I'll get to the moon myself.
Yeah.
And then the guy was like, it's 15 minutes later. I'm going to check in.
If you're not going to get around to it, if you're not going to at least have started the process in the last 15 minutes,
Yes.
you're never going to do it.
Yeah.
Congratulations once again to Buzz Aldrin. He listens. Good job on getting to the moon 50 years ago. Oh, man. Love that trip they made.
Yeah.
Hey, don't forget Michael Collins.
Yeah, okay.
He was the guy who was in the lander.
He did the orbit.
Yeah, he didn't get on the moon though.
And
Neil
of course,
Armstrong.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to take a bit more of a run up, but
Yuri Gagarin.
Well, it was one small step for Adam, and it would have been one giant leap for you.
yeah.
So in a way,
Yeah, so what you're
I'm
saying is-
Michael Collins.
It meant nothing to him, but it would have meant a great deal to me.
Yes.
Wait, which one am I? Am I Buzz?
No, I think you're Neil because you jumped out before I could.
Yes.
Oh, I see. I wasn't really paying attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Like Neil.
Yeah.
Not really paying attention to what he said.
yeah,
Kind
you
of
fucked
fucking
it up,
halfway
yeah.
through. That shows people thinking that the moon landing was a conspiracy. They'd have re-fucking shot that.
Yes.
That's like one of the biggest pieces of it. Also, all the rest of the evidence and the fact that you can look up at the moon and see
you
it.
can see it. You would have been able to see the shuttle going up through the atmosphere.
Yeah, if you had a big enough telescope back then, you could have looked into your neighbour's room and watched them getting changed.
Oh.
Imagine that.
You could see a big full moon in their window.
Damn. There's a big old asteroid hit right in the centre of that moon.
Oh.
The butthole.
Right.
Did you not understand?
No, I understood all too well. So it was a great live show on the moon. Thanks everyone for coming.
Yeah.
It was great.
Speaking of the moon, you go to the moon in Final Fantasy V, and that Bandcamp will be up as well on Saturday. Just mentioning that.
Yep.
Yes.
New Bandcamp app. The history of Final Fantasy, 3.5 hours long.
Yes, it is.
Yep. Great times.
Yeah.
Some great trivia. Some great impressions.
A lot of music wove into the edit. It sounds great because it's great music. The end.
I love music.
I think there's a small
I'm
part
just
of me.
one person in Triple J. That would be their catchphrase. I love music.
Yeah, I'm the one person in this office that actually likes it. Everyone else absolutely off it by this
They're
point.
using this as a stepping stone.
Yeah,
but me,
they just
I
want
love
Instagram
music.
likes. Fuck.
To go back to the moon very quickly, there is a
If only we could.
decent sized part of me that I think I do kind of think that the moon landing was faked.
What?
That's dumb.
Because, and I was thinking about this just a second ago.
Is that because you got vaccinated when you were a kid? And it's made you...
I used to, when I was growing up, read this. I forget what it was called. I think maybe it was called X Factor. It was like a magazine that was all about like aliens and stuff. You know those
sounds credible.
You know those like magazines for kind of like kids or whatever, where the first issue would come with like a big binder to keep all the other issues
sure.
in.
Yeah.
I had a dinosaurs one, and they're fake. So
Yeah. They
God
were
put 'em
put
there.
here as a test by God.
Yes.
But God also tested us with get to the moon and I'll start fucking up the world from that point on.
Yes.
If you dare to come that near to me,
Yeah.
everything from 69 onwards will go downward.
Yep.
And it's happened.
Yeah.
He followed through.
Everything from 69 onwards goes downwards and upwards at the same time.
Yeah.
Why do they have to do it then?
But it every month it would be it was all the kind of stuff that I was super into as a kid and still am, like paranormal stuff, like unexplained phenomenon.
We should storm Area 51.
Yeah, it was all that.
They
It was
can't
Roswell
arrest us
shit.
all, man.
But then I remember one issue just in the mix, and just thinking about this now, this is bizarre, and I don't know why this was in there. There just was a whole thing about how them going like, basically them just saying the moon landing was faked.
Wow.
Like it was all the stuff about like, here's how they faked it all. Like in the mix of like, isn't that a weird, that kind of sticks out a little bit.
That's why they would have done it in that case.
Right.
The thing that sticks out as weird is usually that we got to wrap this up in like some fun alien kid shit. Say like, oh, look out your window, what might be out there? Then in the middle of the series, we hit him with the moon landing being fake.
Right.
Yeah.
And then by the end, they've sort of just absorbed it and everyone believes it.
But I remember
don't
reading
understand what people's agenda is.
No, neither.
In saying the moon landing was fake as well. I don't understand what the benefit... like, I guess it's like, they're lying to us. But they're not.
Yeah. And also,
happened.
like, it's not like there's anything built up around it. Like, we don't go back there much.
Yeah.
There's no incentive. What's the incentive?
Exactly.
I can't see it.
And I reckon it's a similar kind of mind that believes in the idea of aliens and paranormal kind of stuff, right? Which is
they're all conspiracies, right? Like conspiracies that aliens are real, conspiracies the moon landing was fake. They're all just conspiracies.
right. But if you believe that we've discovered alien life and that aliens are being held at Area 51 or wherever it is, so that's you believing that there's something more out there,
Right.
Whereas you then believing in the same breath that the moon landing is faked, that's the absence of something happening. So you're believing that the world is slightly less fantastic. Than, you know what I mean?
Conspiracy theorists then just contrarians. And if aliens came to Earth and we were like, fuck, there are aliens, they'd be like, nah.
It's just men in suits.
That was all
They're filming this.
CGI.
Kubrick's filming this.
Yeah, Kubrick's back. He never died as well. Not a lot of people know that.
Him and Elvis.
Yeah.
But I remember reading that as a kid, and I think I must still have a bit of it in my brain. Because just being an impressionable child and it being presented as if like, this is how they faked it. Reading it and going, how did the rover turn around at that angle in space? And it's still in my head to this day of like...
Why does that... Okay.
But you
I'm not-
don't-
There's no point in arguing
Yeah.
it because, like, the moon landing happened.
Yeah.
You can grab a telescope right now and look
Yeah.
up at the moon, and you can
Yes.
see the bit where they landed if it's a strong enough telescope. You
can
can
see those
Yeah.
golf balls still.
That
You literally can.
Oh, really?
You
Yeah. I
can
didn't
see
know
up
that.
there, and you can see footprints.
see footprints,
and shit.
yeah.
I think they are decaying or something over the time because of cosmic wind, which is what I call it when I fart in a spacesuit.
Yes.
That I wear for sexual pleasure.
No.
How dare you scoff at his 69 joke before and then
Yes.
come out with
was a-
cosmic wind?
That was a
Because
scoff
I'm-
of jealousy.
No, I'm talking about coming in a spacesuit now. That's
Yeah.
sick.
Well, now that you've-
all the food up there has to be liquid, and I got some food for it.
But I do. I think I need to go to like
It'd just be a
conversion
sphere.
therapy.
Yes.
To get these crazy little moon conspiracy
called-
theories that are rattling around in there from being 10.
Called science class.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll go to my therapist.
Yeah.
I've remembered this repressed memory, and he's like, "Oh God, here we go." I'm like, I think that the moon landing was fake.
I think genuinely, like,
That's why I can't trust any partner.
I think that's why conspiracies are such a big thing, because it's almost more comforting to think that everyone's set everything up and everything all's gone to plan so far, and everyone's like, someone's against us, but it's all logical and makes sense and there's a reason.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But if it's,
yeah.
It's like
all
the
this shit happened because it's chaotic and fucked,
Right.
that's scarier than a conspiracy.
It's nice to
Yes.
believe that someone committed to an idea and was able to follow it through.
Exactly.
Anyway,
We're gonna
boys,
fake
what have we
this
got for this episode? Nothing? If you say so.
Bit of news.
Well, can I just? There's been I want to start with this.
Okay.
There's been a conspiracy theory on this podcast
Oh.
for about almost 4 years now.
Yeah?
That the Xbox One does not exist. I've heard a lot
Yes.
of talk from certain factions in this
Yes.
podcast.
Yes.
I've always been a believer in it, but some people have denied the existence of that little green box.
Yes.
The Xbox One.
It's actually white.
It is now, and I guess the first one was the only one that had green on it.
Right.
But there's still green when you turn it on.
Sure.
The logo's green.
Until you change the color of your theme.
no.
Green.
That
Oh,
bit.
the splash screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is green.
That's green as
Yeah.
hell. And you
Not if you
cannot.
break your TV. Not if you
Yeah.
change all the gamma settings.
Not if you don't turn your TV on until after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not if you don't have electricity connected at your house.
Yes.
You've got to
Fucker.
pay the bill.
Yes.
Oh, it's all unraveling. Maybe it isn't real. Maybe there is only the switch.
Use a telescope for this one, fuckhead.
Well, I'm using a telescope right now to look in the corner of your room where we're recording, Tommy, and there's a little white box down there
Yep.
that I happen to know
Yep.
is a Microsoft
Laserdisc.
product
Oh.
by the name of it. You got Xboxes, both
Yes.
of you.
We
Xbox
got
One
X-Buy.
S's.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know how the plural of box is
Is buy.
buy? Look at all these Amazon buys. Oh, I guess you could buy things from
Yeah.
Amazon.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what? You're right again.
What if I say I'm bisexual?
Oh.
You're box sexual.
If you love the Xbox.
Yeah.
then yeah.
Well, that's been me this whole time. I've loved the
Wow.
Xbox
Oh, okay.
from the 20 before this podcast. And I've
When
been
you bought mine off me.
I bought yours off you because
Yeah.
you thought it sucked.
Yeah.
You didn't want it anymore. You got a PS4. You wanted to swap.
Yep.
And look who's come crawling back in a different direction to another shop.
Yes.
But yeah,
Yeah.
It's great.
I really like it. And we've sort of been talking about it over the weekend, Knox. I've been away from it.
yeah.
And you were sort of running me through the apps and like the Game Pass stuff, which I've got. Been bloody preloading some stuff off my phone.
Yeah, there's a Game Pass app on your phone where you can download games that you want on your Xbox at home from your phone.
The day that I think you got yours delivered the day before me also, Ben.
Yeah, the day
And
that I left for Sydney, I think, or
Yeah.
the day before, maybe, yeah.
You were loving it, Knox. Like being in this position, you're like, now boys, I'll tell you this, you're going to hate the interface. Bear with it. The menus are a little clunky.
Totally. I was
Yes.
the dad first.
Yes.
And then you guys have had kids later. I've gone, I tell you what, the smell of their head, pretty good. The smell of their poop, you'll get used to. Don't worry about it. When you drop it, you got to get a new one. you
reckon
got to
the,
not tell the wife it's like a goldfish.
Yes.
I reckon the Game Pass is the equivalent of the smell that comes off the baby's head.
Yeah.
In terms of the immediate thing that gives you a bond
Yep.
where you go, this is fucking beautiful.
That
I
new console
love this
smell
thing.
is genuinely great. That
It's so
smell
fun.
of manufactured plastic, honestly, let the world burn.
Yeah.
It is a good smell.
Yeah. We've both got them now. It's it is fun getting something
Agreed.
I guess this getting something this late in the lifespan because
Agreed.
there's so much of it set up. Like
Agreed.
getting it when the Game Pass already exists.
Agreed.
Was sick.
I'd agree with that.
I'm just going to keep going until I say something that you disagree
That's
with.
the game. We're playing 20 questions, right?
So yeah, is there do you have any questions you want to ask an old hand?
Yeah,
Or do you
where else
pretty
should we
much
go
get
with
it?
our exclusive day one interview of the Xbox One? I actually still don't know what the
Xbox
Xbox
One.
One S.
Yeah.
So this is it's the second revision. The only real difference with that one is that it can play 4K Blu-rays.
Yeah.
Which is a huge bonus for
Yeah.
me. Yeah. Like that, I think, tipped me over the edge of like, sure, it's the end of a life cycle of the console. There's heaps of games for it.
Yeah.
But is it worth it? I'm going to get the new one next year or the year after or whatever. But it's a 4K player, and I love movies.
For Netflix and stuff, games won't be in 4K on it.
Yeah, but that's fine. Like
Yeah.
4K
But digital,
Netflix,
Well,
4K
digital stuff
discs.
that you buy off the store? I imagine there's
Depending
probably
on
4K
which
stuff on
store, and like Netflix doesn't do 4K stuff here yet, at least. So
Right.
you can play 4K media on that. I think if you plug a fucking USB stick with like an
Right.
MKV
Yeah,
file
yeah.
in it, it'll play.
But
4K.
I've wanted an excuse to have a 4K disc player for
Right.
ages. Like I really do value like
Yeah,
the
I should
quality
get
of
something.
movies.
Yeah.
So that's cool. That's a bonus. I love how it looks. It is my favorite looking console that I've ever owned.
How do you like that controller?
It's okay.
Wrong.
It's. I'm still coming to grips with it. Honestly, I've only played one
Right.
game on it. I think I still prefer the Pro controller for the Switch, but I think the Xbox One is probably second.
I'd agree. It's very similar. I'd say
It is
it's a very
similar.
close second.
But here's my argument for the Xbox One with the analog triggers. If you're playing a racing game, better than the Switch. I
Right,
find
absolutely.
personally, and I think I've got slightly maybe bigger hands or something.
I have
but I'm
I have
not
big
sure.
palms. And
Let's put a
fingers.
hand up together. You've gone back to back with my hand so that you don't have to feel as though. So my fingers are longer.
Yeah, but we have about the same size palms.
And those thumbs, they're matching up.
Yeah, that's true, which is the main thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I find the Xbox One controller more comfortable. And the D-pad's good, I think. It's
I
like
find
clicky,
the Pro
but I
a
like
little
it.
bit more comfortable, maybe.
Yeah,
The
me too.
buttons on this it feels a little lighter than
Yes.
the Switch Pro controller,
Yes, I
which
agree.
then makes it feel slightly cheaper in some way.
I don't
Okay.
like the buttons. I have to say the what are they?
Interesting.
X, Y, B, and A.
But
Yeah.
these are
I'm not a fan of the
in a
buttons.
random order.
these are just quibbles. I love the controller,
Right.
and in fact,
I do like it. Yes.
What I can say now freely that I own all three of the current major consoles on
Yes,
the market.
yes.
Something that I've thought for a very long time, which previously I wouldn't have felt safe saying because it would have been chalked up to, oh, this is just a bias of you loving Nintendo.
Yes.
I don't like the PlayStation controller.
Neither do I.
I don't
Right.
like it at all.
Yeah. I
It's-
think the touchpad thing is dumb.
The touchpad sucks.
Yeah,
What
it's
were they
useless.
going for with that?
It's the Wii U of the PS4
Yeah.
thing. Like, nothing really tends to use it. I don't like the two sticks being in the middle.
I do. I prefer that.
Holding my thumbs out like I'm fucking tweaking its nipples. I guess it's nothing like
It's
that,
just
but you know
so-
what I mean.
It's so angular.
Yeah.
It's so. I find it so
Right.
weird when you look at pictures
Those
of
triggers are bad.
Yeah.
Well, I've had a PlayStation. Like I had a PlayStation when I was very young.
Yeah.
I think my hands molded to the DualShock.
But the
'Cause it
DualShock
feels-
is better than the 4 one.
I think they're very, very similar.
I think there's been such little refinement of the PlayStation controller over the years since from the original one.
Oh, this
That's
one is a
what's-
big jump though.
But if you line them up, the very original PlayStation ones as well, they haven't changed it much. For how much other things have changed over that time in terms of controllers.
Sure, I would disagree with that just because this one is pretty different from the others, and I think in negative ways. Where
I disagree. Like I think they are very similar, but I do like how the handles of the DualShock 4 feel sort of molded to my hands, and I'm definitely the most used to that of all three. But I like them all. I think the Pro is the best.
That's so interesting. I find that that's my problem with it is that it doesn't feel molded.
Right,
It feels so angular.
Same.
I also don't
not
like.
angular. It feels like blobby and weird in a set. Like I don't know,
I
like
also-
holding a toy.
There's one
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
Do you wanna touch it?
No, I'm just going to imagine.
Okay.
I also don't like the kind of weird sort of coarse kind of matte sort of feel to the top of the joysticks.
On
Oh,
the
really?
PS4?
I like
Yeah.
that. It gives you grip. I think I like the joysticks, and the buttons on the DualShock 4 are, I think, by far my favorite. I think the shape of the Pro controller is the best, but I really do like the Xbox controller as well.
I mean, they're all good at this point.
Yeah, they
we
are.
can say that too. They've spent a lot of money refining these things.
Yeah.
Other than maybe Nintendo with their Joy-Cons, but we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, to go back to something you touched on before, the analog triggers. So one of the things I've been playing, Forza Horizon 4, and just having a proper, like, sensitive trigger for a racing game is just so good.
I'm looking forward to that. I've
And
only played one game.
It being a game where it's like knowing that I can freely just leave it for months and then dip back in, and I'm not going to have forgotten what it... You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just like, this is all you're doing.
Yeah.
It's just pure accelerate, brake, and that's it.
Yep.
There's nothing else to have to
Turn
remember.
a couple of times, but yeah, pretty much
Yeah, a
other
couple
than that.
turns.
Like, yeah, you want to turn from time to... That's my
Yeah.
hot tip as someone who's had an Xbox for a while. Turn sometimes in Forza.
Okay, interesting.
You'll enjoy it more.
Okay.
It's really good. But so the Game Pass, like we've talked about that a lot on the show since it was announced and everything. But there is such a, from saying on paper, what a great idea, to actually having it in practice, getting it out of the box, paying a fee, and then it's just like, here's a big library of everything that you can just have now if you want.
Yeah.
It feels so good.
It's incredible. It's so smart. It's really well implemented. I like the interface. I'm actually, I think, the only one of the three of us who's a fan of the Xbox's general menu system and interface.
Right. It's like a little slow or something. There's bits of it that just, I don't know. It feels Microsofty in that way of like a little... mechanical isn't the right word.
I think I used to be a PC guy.
Right.
I used to love my gaming PC. I only got rid of it because it was crashing heaps because I customized it so much.
Right.
It was like, okay, it's kind of my fault, but it's there to customize. Why wouldn't I fuck around with it? The Xbox feels closer to a PC for obvious reasons, and I feel like hopefully I can customize it a bit as well.
Yeah, not really. You can put pins of your favorite stuff down the bottom.
That's all I need.
Like you're in one of those 1940s airplane hangars with pin-up girls all over it.
Yes.
Except-
I don't mind it aesthetically. It feels a bit to me like, and I think the PlayStation is guilty of this as well, a console that's been out for so long where they've, over time, added stuff and
Right.
tinkered with the interface and the menus a bit to the point now where it's like coming in on day one. It feels to me like it's just a couple of... The fact that it's just like a couple of steps to just get into where the games are is kind of frustrating. It's like, why can't I just turn it on and have all my games that I own just there?
Right.
Why have I got to cycle? And even when I first got it and turned it on, I'm like, where do I go to get on Game Pass? Why isn't Game Pass like the top main thing of this thing that now I just push a button and I'm in the library?
Right.
The fact that it took me a little bit of dicking around to work out where that was.
I think for me it was literally like my games and apps on the left in dead center. What's the Game Pass? Give that a try. It has since left that spot. But
Yeah.
I think it was for me the
that
first
is
thing.
like rotating ads and stuff.
Yeah,
you'll get
right.
there. So sometimes it'll be like NBA 2K's out or whatever.
I better buy it then.
Yeah, but it's such a small thing, the interface, because you're not really going to be looking at it heaps of the time. So you've played Forza Horizon 4.
I've played a bit of Forza Horizon 4.
You're at the perfect place, actually, can I say, coming into the Game Pass thing, because a lot of the stuff on it I'd already gotten by
Yes.
the time Game Pass came
Right.
around. So
Yeah,
like
of
all the
course.
old Xbox stuff that had come out, I'd been there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd seen it. I was ready to tell the story.
You conquered it.
Not yet, but they maybe will bring out a new one of them one day.
Hopefully. I've got the other Rare games downloading, so...
Love a bad fur day. But it is the perfect time to be coming into this. So what else have you played?
So yeah, Forza, just quickly, is, I'm loving that. It's so fun. It looks beautiful. I love the whole setup of this racing game that has actual races and then these little event modes. The open world racing game thing where you're given a... For anyone who hasn't played it, you'll finish a race and then you take a phone call that's like, hey, I just heard of this movie that needs a stuntman. I'll put it on the map for you.
Right.
And so then you rather than it being a menu, it's like you drive over through the world, to the movie set. And so it's very fluid going from one race to the next and really feeling like you are in this living, breathing space.
And fucking hooning around in there is really fun.
Yeah.
Smashing those cobblestone walls,
Yeah.
scaring sheep off, doing all of that. Like, it's the perfect environment for it.
And having triggers for the accelerator that are actually, like, it does make a huge amount of difference, really being able to regulate the amount of accelerator that you're putting on.
Yeah.
So I've played a fair bit of that. I think I've spent the most amount of time playing Ori and the Blind Forest, which is fucking great.
I never got around to that one.
Yeah. You should play it. It's definitely, I think, in so much as a Metroidvania, but also the kind of tone and feel of it. I think Hollow Knight has been very inspired by it, but I think you would really like it.
Cool.
It's, classic, a lot of classic Metroidvania kind of style tropes, but just the art design of it and the feel of it and the kind of richness of this kind of woodland creature kind of world that they've done. It feels and looks and sounds great. I'm really loving it.
Awesome.
And there's the sequel in like Feb or something.
Yeah, early next year sometime, I think, is when it is.
I just remembered, I've played 2 games. The second of which is Void Bastards. Have either of you gone in on that at all?
I haven't gotten around to it.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's a roguelike.
Yeah.
But I hate those games.
Same.
And
usually.
this is the best version of it. It's graphic novel, sort of sci-fi cyberpunk art style, sort of reminiscent of that game 13 from years ago, but it's not cell shaded. It's like, thick line drawing, lots of like purples and cyans, like real sort of 80s cyberpunk style.
Cyan-fi.
Exactly. Which I'm starting to get sick of, but not in this game.
Okay.
You play...
Thank you. Cyan-Fian.
There's a bunch of mosquitoes in the air.
And I'm beating my dick off over them.
Let's see if we can turn it another time.
I was clapping.
So it starts and you're like a random prisoner. And
Space prison ship.
Space prisoner, you're on a ship.
Do you mean like a random prisoner?
Yes. So spouting off a lot of really funny lines.
Hey everyone, it's crazy we're getting locked up here. I'm going to miss my unicorn.
No, I just meant like a non-specific. Yeah.
Right.
I feel stupid now.
It's like you're on like a space station or something. I don't think the starting place is important, but it's like, you got to find this item. You got to go through these rooms. There's a top-down map to help you. A few guards and shit. You got to get this item, and then the way that the initial mission starts is like, quick! There's some guys boarding. You got to run immediately to the little ship and get off. And from the way it's presented, you die every time in that situation.
Right.
And then it goes, hey, you were supposed to die. Here's what the game is. And then it reveals like, you're just one of many prisoners on this big floating prison ship where there's actually no one left on there. There's a company that's going to like keep waking people up to like go and get a bunch of shit. And so it's like, you've woken up as this guy with these attributes. Like the second guy I had, he was like a smoker, which meant he would cough occasionally, alerting nearby enemies. But he's going through this level, and the levels are set out sort of like FTL was, where it's like, okay, there's a level over here where it's like these parameters, or you can go to this one over here, or this one over here, moving through a galaxy. And you can kind of choose which one you want to try.
And these are all randomly generated at the start of making the overall mission thing?
I believe so, yeah. And it's like, this one you can get this piece of equipment, which will help you build this thing, which will help you on the next mission. That's a roguelike sort of staple.
Yeah.
So like you upgrade your character availability stuff, because it's a different character every time.
Going back into the same world and it's been randomized again, you're starting as a new character technically.
Yes.
Going into the same world.
Yes.
Each time.
From what I've seen so far, yes, that's exactly it. And the art style, like I said, it's great. Like I like that style, and it's really, really well implemented. It's super smooth. It looks fantastic. It's fun to play. It's a little... The gunplay is a little independent game. It's not quite as tight and well done as a Halo or a Call of Duty or something.
Yeah.
But it's still fun. It's very funny. I think it's well written.
Cool.
It's kind of quirky. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm really glad I just took a punt based on the name.
Yeah, no, and that's the magic of that Game Pass shit.
Yeah.
You can just fucking have a go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about this. I have great guilt about the number of things that I've, bought and started and not finished, let alone the number of things I've bought and then never even started.
Yeah.
And yeah, it feels great with this. It's like pick something up, and if I never touch it again, it's like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It is
Even if
really
it's a great game and you bounce off of it, it doesn't really matter because it was free. Speaking of which, so you guys played Outer Wilds, right?
Oh, wait, very quick before we get to that, because I do want to talk about Outer Wilds a bit.
Okay,
I also
yes.
got Rare Replay.
Oh, yeah, right, cool.
And
It's one of
played-
the many things I have downloading.
Right. It downloads in a weird way. Did it do this for you where it has to download them all kind of separately? But yeah.
Because the 360 ones are emulated because the Xbox One can play 360 games backward compatible.
Right.
Right.
So those are just the 360 one as though you put a disc in.
Right.
And then if you put a 360 disc in, it just downloads the game. It doesn't play off of the disc.
Oh, okay.
So that's what it's doing. It'd be all the 360 ones, and then like your other ones would just be in there, right? Like all the old Sinclair or whatever, the ZX
Yep.
Spectrum
Yeah.
ones.
Yep, Cameo.
Yep.
Which, when you open the Rare Replay game itself, it opens with this big kind of animated song about the history of Rare and everything. And
Right.
it's like, God, you cunts are British. Like, it's so... Do you know what I'm talking? Have you seen it?
I've not played Rare Replay.
Right. It's very dumb, but it's
Right.
it's very them. I played a little bit of Conker's Bad Fur Day, which holds up so far better than I thought it would.
Because it's the Xbox remake of it,
It's
right?
not.
It's
No,
the
it's
64
not.
one.
It's a port because you
Oh,
can get an
weird.
Xbox remake, but it's
Yeah.
the one that's included in that package is the 64
Oh,
original.
weird.
Yeah, which does hold up pretty well. A little bit of dodgy camera stuff,
Right.
Okay.
but everything else, like it still controls fine. Like I thought it might, feel moving around might feel weird, but it actually feels good.
Right.
Yeah, it's a good game.
Sick.
Maybe there'll be maybe that'll be expanded upon.
Yeah, well,
someday
there's.
in a premium episode.
I'm certainly planning on playing as many of the Rare games as I can, and
I think I've already
if
played.
there's a reason why I'm doing that. That would be, interesting.
I think I've played about 85% of them, so I'll cover that off that extra 15 just for fucks and giggles.
Yeah, yeah,
I
I
love
don't.
fucking a giggling.
yeah. I'm fucking. She's giggling.
Okay, so Outer Wilds. This
Yes.
was, I think, for both of us, a big selling point
It certainly was.
in getting the Xbox.
Not just our good friend Adam, but many, many people in the games industry saying this is one of the games of the year.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was very curious to play it. I've started playing it.
Yeah.
Tommy?
How long?
also
Wait,
started
wait.
playing it?
Before you've started, how long have you played it for, each of you?
I
About
haven't-
2 hours?
Right.
Yeah, probably about the same. And so far, I don't really get it. I'm
Yeah.
going to persevere, but if I was just going in cold without having heard anything from anyone, I probably would have just given up by now.
Sure.
It's very hard to get. I'm finding it very hard to get a grip on.
It doesn't give you
It
a lot
doesn't
of
help you at all.
direction,
Yeah.
but every time that you restart, every time that you build upon stuff, you start to put it together.
I
Push
also-
through, because one of the first things I did, and I know this is what you did, is fall into that fucking black hole in the middle of the crumbling planet and wind up in the middle of space not knowing where I was. Mm-hmm.
I've done that.
Is fine. Like, that shit happens. At some point, that makes sense why that's happening. You figure it out. Keep going.
I also
if you don't like it, whatever. Everyone has different tastes.
Yeah.
But I would say keep going.
I have always found controlling zero gravity stuff, spacesuit, spaceship stuff, very difficult.
Right.
There's
There's a lot of doing that.
a lot of floaty, a lot of I've always found that stuff very hard to get a grip on. So I think so far it's the combination of not knowing what I'm doing, feeling like I'm very bad at controlling it, and also I don't think it looks very good.
I
From
agree
a
with that.
Graphic point of view,
Yeah.
and also from an art design point of view, the character design is absolutely not to my taste at all.
Sure. I think the scale of it or the scope of it, that sort of thing, is like cool.
Yeah.
I think that part of it looks good. But I agree that like the sort of small scale
The
stuff.
textures don't look great.
Yeah.
Water and shit, yeah.
It's a little stylized and stuff, but yeah, for the most part.
It looks like a uni project. Like, it looks like someone's 3D
it's a small
design.
person project
Of course,
and it's
of
made
course,
using that
that's
fucking Unity engine.
A completely unfair criticism, but...
Well, it's not unfair, but it's like, it's certainly
It has
an
a reason.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
an element
Yeah.
of it that you, it couldn't have been avoided in the production of this, I don't
but
think.
it's one of those things that if you're already finding it a bit difficult to get on with,
Yeah.
like I said, were it not for, knowing, like hearing so much glowing stuff about it, that would just be another reason that it would end up on the...
The
to-do
confusion
pile
at
that
the
I never go back
start
in.
as well is part of what makes it piece together so nicely when
Yeah.
it starts happening. Like, you really have to throw yourself into it and let it be confusing and just go... Cause I had the same feeling early on of like, what the fuck does that... But I don't know, there was something about it that you can see that there's something to it and that it's going somewhere with it and it isn't random.
Yep.
Well, yeah, so I've played it for a couple of hours. I don't find it hard to control. I've found the rocket stuff pretty easy.
Yeah.
And like the first thing I did was follow like this, like a tossed off comment of like, maybe you could do this or you could do this.
Yeah.
And so I did that, which is something that is physically closer. Did it immediately, landed somewhere, found this hidden little room, found
Yeah.
this whole sort of cave system, found these things, started translating shit, found some other stuff. There's a projection, there's some gravity shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, bing, bang, boom, I'm in this game. I know what's going on. This is fun.
Yeah.
And then I flew out into space and I couldn't really get a hang of like the orbiting shit and trying to land on other planets.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
You'll figure that
Yeah,
out.
yeah. It's just early on. I like it. I thought it was like really cool opening, very mysterious.
Yeah.
I liked the presentation of that. I'm enjoying it.
Oh, cool.
I just like I think I said something in the group of like, I did this one thing and I don't know what's going on.
Right.
Which is true. It's not a criticism. It's just like, I've
Right.
only played it for 2 hours. It's, I think, meant to feel that way at the start.
100%.
I do agree that the aesthetic is not wonderful. It's not perfect. But I think I'm already starting to look past it because of the mechanical stuff that I've come across and enjoyed. Yeah.
I
Once
do
you
like
go
the
to the
vibe and
different-
everything.
Or once you go to all the different planets and you see all the different ways it goes with how it's designed as well,
Right.
I think that improves the the impression of it because, or in a similar way to like Zelda dungeons or something like that, each of the planets has a different thing going on.
Yeah.
So at some point you start to appreciate that out of it, and yet you have to read fucking everything.
Yes.
You have to use that computer with the clues
Yep.
in
Yep.
your spaceship.
I
and,
like that element of it. I like that little...
Once you start piecing that shit together, it feels fucking amazing.
Yeah, right. I
It's
think the
cool.
problem too was that I started playing Ori first,
Right.
and had played that for a couple of hours, and that's very immediate. It's like, here's your abilities, here's how it controls. It looks, beautiful
Yeah.
aesthetically, and I kind of got really sucked into that. And then I was like, okay, I better put this on ice, and I want to try Outer Wilds. And then that's very confusing and mysterious, and it deliberately so takes a bit of work to get your head around.
Yeah.
And so I was just kind of like, oh man, I was really loving that other thing I was playing. Like, why am I
Right.
getting a headache over this when I could just dip back into
Yeah.
that and keep playing that? Because it sucked me in immediately.
Go,
Right.
Hell yeah. But maybe
Thanks,
go back then, because that's the thing. There's no rush to play it. It's the
Yeah.
same
I'll
game.
dip
And if
in and out.
anything, I think this game, Outer Wilds, will be patched a little bit and will be sort
Right.
of fixed up a little bit as time goes on
Yeah.
throughout the year. So there's no rush.
When characters in the game are like, how did that happen? What's going on?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, this game is purposefully a mystery in
Totally.
a gameplay sense as much as a story sense.
And I think the intro on that like Earthish planet where you talk to all those people and they have these things like, we haven't seen this guy in a while.
Yeah.
And like, we don't really know what this ghost shit is and all of that stuff. Like, it does set you up to be like, oh, okay, I'm not a dumb cunt.
yeah.
I am meant to be a little bit overwhelmed by this at the start.
And very clearly, like, it's going to be trial and error.
Yeah.
Don't worry about fucking up and dying.
Because at some point, the thing you have to do is just go off. on your
Right.
own. You have to go look for shit.
Yeah, yeah.
And it won't really tell you where shit is. You've just got to get adventurous with it. Or you
Right.
can point that little fucking gun at, all the people who are playing their music. So I guess that gives you a
Right.
Oh yeah.
general direction to like, hey, probably go for
Yeah, I think that's the other thing too. You walk around your little home base at the start, and you kind of learn, hey, here's this roving camera thing. Here's this thing where you can listen into sound waves, and I'm finding that a bit overwhelming. Of like, which of these am I meant to use and when? Like, what
Right.
are all these things for?
Right. You can
know?
again, it does throw all that stuff at you pretty quickly. And a lot of those I sort of figured out as it went on, like especially that little drone that you get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that stuff. Remember that you have all of them.
Yeah.
So that when you come up to stuff and you're like, what the fuck do I do here? Remember you got a toolkit with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, you kind of have to figure them out as it goes.
Yeah.
And it's pretty logic when it does present you with a puzzle, there's logic to it.
Yeah,
And if
yeah.
you're confused about something, there will be an answer, but maybe head somewhere else because there's other stuff to do in the meantime.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's all over the place because there's all these different planets, bits of information are scattered around.
Yep.
But yeah, loving the Xbox.
Yeah.
You know what? I like the controller so much and so much more than the PlayStation controller that I kind of wish I had had one of these for longer because
Right.
I definitely, any games that are out on both consoles, I definitely would have defaulted to playing it on the Xbox.
Sure.
Purely because
Right.
of the controller. Yeah.
That's mostly what I've been doing as well because, like, yeah, the S is great and it is an upgrade from the original one in terms of how it runs things to
Right.
get better frame rates and stuff. Then you chuck that X on top of it. Baby, I'm running around. I'm John Marston.
Oh,
I'm James Marsden.
I love James Marsden. James Masters.
I'm the goddamn frame rate kid.
Wow.
Running around the outback of America.
But yeah, great purchase. Really happy to have one now. Really happy that all three boys are big 3 console owners.
Yeah.
The price is
Great.
right now with them
Price
too.
is really right.
Very right.
Game Pass, and I haven't really experienced this yet with new releases coming to a day one. I think Gears of War 4 is maybe the next big one that's coming out that will all
5.
be 5, sorry.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, Gears 5.
Thank you.
They got rid of the of war.
Yes.
They're just hanging out this
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So, of stuff that you know is on the Game Pass, Adam, what else would you recommend us or anyone who's getting it going in on, aside from, I guess, the obvious? If I was going to play, here's an easier question. If I was going to play a Gears game, where
Yeah.
should I start? Because I think they're all on there.
Yes.
Yep.
Just play 4 probably at
Okay.
this point. That's the one from 2016.
Yep.
Maybe read like a recap of what the story of the first 3 is. It won't make sense, but then characters will come up and you'll be like, oh yeah, okay.
Okay.
If you played 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, you'd get burnt
It's
out.
overkill, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
All the Halo games are good.
Yep.
Well, that's an overstatement, but Halo is all on there.
Where do I find out what games I've got installed?
Good question.
the
I don't know if you
fucking
can
console on.
on the app. Yeah, I'm not sure if you can. Hitman's on there. You never played
Oh,
Hitman,
yeah.
did you,
Oh,
Tommy?
yeah,
I didn't see that on there.
Yeah, I reckon
Hitman 1 is on there.
This is stupid, but there's a lot of stuff on there. But in my head, I had built it up that there was like a million things on there, so that I then eventually, when I went through the whole library, was slightly underwhelmed
Right.
by the number. But that was purely
It's
because
only 100 games.
Yeah.
Rather than, yeah.
yeah.
I still want to play Sea of Thieves properly and like maybe
Yeah.
we'll jump in as a group.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
actually, yeah, we should totally do that.
PUBG is on there. It's not a great version, but you could play that.
Okay.
Maybe.
What other exclusive stuff is on the...
Man, fuck all. That's the worst thing about the Xbox is that, when you're talking about exclusives, you're having a short conversation.
Yeah.
Right.
You got Gears, you got Halo, you got Forza.
There's games like Alien Isolation, which if you haven't played is
Oh,
a
yeah.
fantastic game.
Yeah, I've never... Is that on there?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, I didn't
Stuff
see that.
like Outer Wilds and things like that are kind of more PC games, but they come out on the Xbox as well because
Right.
it's so similar to a PC.
Yeah.
And Microsoft, I think, puts a bit of money into it.
Man,
That
I
sort of
can't stress
stuff.
the amount of that I'm loving Ori. Like,
Right.
As an afterthought too, like after purchasing, going, oh yeah, I guess I'll be able to, because I didn't really know anything about it. I don't think I even knew that it was a Metroidvania.
Right.
All that I really knew was that it was good and that people are constantly wanting it to come out on the Switch. And once Microsoft said, oh, we're going to have this, they've been talking about doing stuff with Nintendo and then putting Cuphead onto the Switch, like. People keep going here. Like I remember reading a lot of
Right.
stuff in the lead up to E3 of people going, "Here we go. This is where they announce it."
Yeah.
And then who knows if it'll ever actually happen? But it is. It just even so far that alone, I'm like, it's worth having just for this. I
Right.
fucking am loving that game.
Oh, so Hitman's leaving soon. So here's a list of the
Yeah.
things that are leaving
Oh, okay.
soon. Hitman, the first series season is one of them. There's some 360 games that aren't very good. and Dead Rising 2, you're kind of fine
Okay.
with the ones that are leaving. But that is...
What's coming up?
Don't know what's coming up. I think
they
there
didn't
was an
say?
article. I can look that up for you, but
Right.
you'll have to...
What'll I have to do?
You'll...
Just wait
Well, it's...
until he unzips.
You can find out, but you have to pay a high price.
I recommend
$14.95 a month.
I recommend the Fable games.
Oh, yeah.
I was a big fan of the first one. Just a fun RPG with like early sort of like, if you choose to do this, then this will happen and your character will be like this.
Chicken Chaser.
Yeah, Chicken Chaser.
All right, Chicken Chaser.
You can have a wife.
They've got like massively British accents,
Oh, okay.
or over the top cartoon British accents, and instead of calling you your character name, you'll have like a rank. This is what I remember.
Yeah,
all of
that's
what I
right.
remember from the first Fable. So that like when you start, you're called Chicken Chaser because
Right.
you're just a little shit kicker, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Get out my way, Chicken Chaser," and it's all that like very Rareware style British.
Yeah,
stuff.
there's some like, it's all like, there's creatures and monsters and like Minotaur guys and shit as well. Like it's a fun sort of silly fantasy world.
It's strange that only Forza Horizon 4 is on there, given that that's an exclusive. Like, why don't
Yeah.
they just have fucking all of them on there?
I
That
guess
seems
so.
weird to me.
Xbox has okay sales sometimes too, so you could
Right.
buy them if you're interested. And all the Forza games are kind of similar to be
Oh,
honest.
yeah.
Right.
So there's not an enormous amount of.
I'm excited that the Mass Effect games are on there.
Are they really?
Yeah, because you can't play them on the PS4.
The one thing with Game Pass and with those as well is that I don't believe DLC is part of it for any of the games.
Right,
Maybe
right.
just some of them. Maybe it's a case by case thing. But you do get a little discount if you've got the Game Pass thing on,
Oh yeah,
on the DLC.
Sorry, Mass Effect is on the Game Pass. All of them are available to buy on the store.
Right.
Which they literally weren't available to buy on the PlayStation 4.
Weird.
So that's cool to me.
I
Yeah.
can't
That's
wait.
just a bonus of the Xbox.
Look, having all three of them, if you've got the resources, which we scraped by, and it's not necessarily the most worthwhile thing,
Right.
No.
But it's cool.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that when you're like when you're a kid and you're like, oh, Mega Drive, SNES, which one's better, which one's worse? Let's lie about it so that everyone else feels bad because this is the one I have. Now we can all live in harmony.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I
Fucking
can't wait
idiots.
for this to go up after copying it about everything else for people now to go, all they do is fucking talk about Xbox. You can't win.
Stop sucking Microsoft's dick. Guys, we can fit all three of their dicks in our mouths.
Bill Gates is the devil. Those gifs of him turning into Satan look pretty bad now that he's done a bunch of work for whichever one it is that he does work for, the
Church of
mosquito
Satan?
one.
Oh.
I can only think of a ninja cockle.
Malaria.
Malaria.
I barely
think
knew
it's
her.
not a funny disease at all.
Okay.
I wouldn't say it's malaria.
What's Quantum Break?
Quantum Break is that Remedy game where they had that Littlefinger in live
yeah.
acting. And I think a guy from Dawson's Creek or
Some
X-Men
guy.
or something.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think he's Fire Guy from X-Men.
Yeah.
Just looking at the cover art.
That looks pretty stupid. Oh, man. The Xbox is sick. Controls coming out on that soon. That looks all right.
Oh, that looks great. Yeah. Yeah,
don't
there's
know
some
anything
good
about
looking
that.
shit on here.
We got to find that Link's Xbox stuff.
Oh, yeah.
The deodorant and the body wash.
Yeah.
I want to smell and look like and only eat Xboxes.
There is a trailer out now for the Netflix original series,
Oh.
The Witcher.
The what?
The Witcher.
Yeah, but what series? Just narrow it down to a few at least.
Yeah.
The Witcher.
Yeah, I don't know the answer. You brought it up. You tell me. God,
no,
this
the
is good.
show is called The Witcher.
That's what I'm saying.
What the
No,
show
guys,
is?
it's a show on Netflix
Yeah.
called The Witcher.
Okay, but which base is it on?
Yeah,
You're
fucking
welcome.
old buff boy, handsome Henry Cavill.
Yep.
He's the Witcher. Fuck, he's good looking.
He's built.
He absolutely looks like the cover of a romance novel. That guy.
Yeah, yeah, a Mills and Boone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, more like a fucking. I can't think of something that rhymes with Mills, but Poon would have
Yeah,
been
that's
the second
the one I
one.
was thinking of.
Ah.
Fill in Poon.
Yeah.
Fill in Poon.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Hey, anyway. The what?
The Witcher.
But it looks meaty. I can't tell. I don't know from that.
I have no attachment to the game or the books. I
Okay.
think it looks all right.
I have attachment to the games, not the books.
Yep.
I think it isn't what I want.
Okay.
I like the third game, but have no like long-term attachment to it. As a TV show, I think it looks kind of cheap and shitty.
Yeah, it looks pretty. This is like a term that gets thrown around a lot, but the sci-fi original thing of
Yep.
which basically just means low budget. Actors being too good looking, not good looking even, but like clean or like just
Yes.
in world, it doesn't make sense that he'd look like that.
Well,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I absolutely do,
Were there
yeah.
10s back then?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Well, no.
I don't think
Yeah.
you can have a medieval 10. Like, even when
Yeah.
they do a painting of, like, ships were launched and wars were fought over her, and then you see a painting and she's like, hello,
Yeah,
like,
right.
it's not possible that there
You
were...
couldn't get it that much of a rig.
No.
You know, there's
Not
no
a
gyms.
chance.
There's no CrossFit.
There's not enough protein. There's not enough food.
Even if you're out there witching and chasing chickens,
Yep.
you can't be that buff.
Yeah.
It's just not a natural amount of buff.
Yes.
No one in a job...
That's our conspiracy.
Yeah.
You can't. No one can be that good looking.
That is weird and off-putting about it. But
Bad thing to
also,
say about
like-
yourself. I'm like medieval ripped. You know what they actually would have been able to achieve.
yeah.
That's me.
Kind of stringy, but not fat.
That's all they had.
I got one of them toil bodies.
Yeah. We, Adam, famously did a podcast about a medieval set TV show.
Vikings, the podcast.
We did Vikings. No, Game of Thrones just manages to not look shitty or cheap.
Even though that guy, I can't remember his name now, who plays Robb Stark, one of the most handsome men going around.
Yeah, totally. He's very handsome.
But there's something off about it. And I think it's partly the dialogue in it, in the trailer, like all the just kind of like, my voice is slightly lower because I'm in the old days talking about a rumor. And that sort of stuff is so generic.
Well, not being a big Game of Thrones head and having only just watched the trailer then, I would say...
and this is the opinion that matters most with
Yeah.
those qualifications.
Yeah. I don't care about the games or the books or the TV show.
all that stuff you're talking about, I can't see, for my eyes, any difference between how that looks and how Game of Thrones looks.
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Okay. As someone who's seen every episode of Game of Thrones multiple times
Yes.
and has played, to some extent, all of the Witcher games. I only finished 1 and 3, but I played some of 2. One, this is about the books, and I've read part of a Witcher book and didn't really like it. It doesn't look that good.
Yeah, I think like just as a TV show, it has that sort of even just like the Netflix thing now. It's not just
Yeah.
sci-fi.
Yeah.
Like all those Marvel shows, they looked a little bit.
Even Stranger Things now. Like,
A little like not soap opera, but like overly digital.
There's
like
something
it's clearly
clean
not
about them that
Yeah.
doesn't work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
something a little bit flat or just rushed, maybe it even is. I can't tell. I have no idea.
I think that there are some good TV directors and some bad ones, and I think
Maybe.
maybe that has something to do
Yeah.
with it as well.
Yeah.
Just like the shot composition, like it feels more like a TV show than a movie.
And it didn't do anything to grab me with whatever obviously it's just a trailer thing. They're not showing much of the story, but you can piece it together from the stuff. So the series, even if it keeps going, won't get up to where the games are. The games are set like 20 years or something after the books.
Yeah.
So this is Books Witcher. It's an adaptation of the Polish books.
Right.
Yeah.
The thing of like Yennefer being this witch who made herself good, like she's a powerful witch. Witch is a politically influential and like kind of dubious
Wait, who are?
in the Witcher thing. Witches.
Are you talking about witches or witches? Which one are you talking about?
Yes.
I hope there's an episode of the show like this.
Guaranteed that'll be one of the first lines.
Yes.
You've got like, I'm a witcher, and they'll be like, a what?
And then the witch will walk in. I'm a witch. Who's a witch? Her. Wait a minute.
I'd be so sick if it's just every different version of that. Then there's like
Yes.
a Seinfeld.
All right, my name's
he's a
Geralt.
witcher?
Yes.
But like, I don't know. It sounds like, they've been doing interviews with Cavill and stuff. He's the only one out of it I really know.
Yeah.
And the only one they've really been interviewing because of that I've seen. And he's like, yeah, I've played all the Witcher games. I've read all the books, done it all multiple times. I've researched for this role.
Yeah.
I'm ready to do it. Here we go. I'm sure he'll be fine in as much as he's been
Yeah.
fine in everything he's done.
We never talked
Right.
about this. I think, when that quote came out, that he was like, I've played all of the games multiple times.
Yeah.
No, you haven't.
I
Shut
can
up.
believe it. I reckon.
I honestly think successful, like hugely successful actors have a lot of downtime.
Yeah.
That's
they work
fair.
for like a month or 2 months at a time. They have heaps of time in their trailer.
Yeah.
If he was ever into video games, I can see that being true.
Well, and he would have known about this role for at least a year, probably.
Mm-hmm.
More than, surely. And I reckon he seems like the type to me to get really, really into researching a role. Mm-hmm. So I reckon he's read every Superman comic multiple times. I reckon he's done every
Right.
Witcher game and book multiple times. Like, I bet he's just done it for that.
Yeah.
Playing the
purpose.
game where it's like the character 20 years after you're portraying him. He's
Yeah.
kind of
But then it's the most commonly known version of that character
Yeah.
as well.
Right.
And he's doing a bit of the gruff voice that doesn't quite work for me. At the end, it's like he's fighting some monster and he's got the potion eyes going on.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know. I guess it doesn't get across the Witcher stuff that is good in that in the games, which is
wait.
to be specific, I mean that stuff is like a big fucking rock monster being like
Rock Monster.
when you're on a side quest. But yeah, I don't know. We'll wait and see, and we'll obviously talk about it a fair bit when it comes out.
Yeah, I'll probably just rewatch The Shield again for a third time.
I've never seen The Shield.
Dude, it's so good.
Chickless, right?
Yeah.
Michael
All men.
Largely.
Yeah, you got to watch The Shield. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's
I've
fantastic.
got to watch The Wire too. I've got to watch every.
No, watch
fucking-
The
No,
Shield
watch The
first.
Shield instead.
Whoa! How times have changed. Really?
It's way more fun. It's really tense as well.
The Wire's great. I remember The Wire being great.
Wait, the Witcher, The Wire,
Hour.
Wire, Hour.
There we go.
Hour.
There
What?
we go. Yeah.
Half hour.
Yeah, we'll cover it when it comes out.
Yeah.
We'll do a big recap.
Yeah.
Maybe we could go we could do Witcher Corner. We could just watch an ep.
We could probably do a
week?
spin-off show, to be honest.
Fuck that.
Mate, we'll just talk about it on this regular podcast. I reckon all as a one set.
No, but I mean
Yeah.
on this, we can do, yeah, fair, whatever. I don't care. I'm not invested.
Yeah, look,
It may be... We kind of think it won't be an amazing show. So who
no,
knows?
and I'm off Netflix originals at this point anyway.
Yeah.
to some degree. So.
Yeah, big time.
They really, it's oversaturation. It's
Yeah.
hard to care anymore when they bring out fucking about 30 of them a year.
It's
Yeah.
not even that it's hard to care; it's that the quality overall seems to have gone down a little bit.
That's what I mean. But when they first started doing them, it was kind of a bit of a seal of quality. You could count that
Yeah.
they were pretty much all good.
Yeah.
And then they just started bringing, and it's like, well, okay, now there's some shit ones in the mix.
Yeah.
So now you've lost that
And it's
brand
like,
recognition.
I'm not going to go back and watch House of Cards again now.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm not even going to finish it. But
Yeah.
So, man, I don't know.
Well, folks, I think that.
There's a couple more bits of news if you want to do them real quick.
Ooh, lightning round.
I just feel as though.
What do you say, Ben? Is it?
Yeah, I'm in.
What you got time for one more heist?
the Joy-Con drift, the third Fast and the Furious movie,
Yes.
has become a bit of an issue for people. Have either of you gotten this? Because I had to look
I
up even
haven't
what
had it.
drift was.
I've had it since I bought my Switch.
Right.
That's why I don't use the Joy-Con much.
So it's random inputs that you're not doing coming from the left Joy-Con in particular?
Yes.
Right.
So
Yeah.
when people were talking about
And the
this,
reverse.
Left. What? And the
And
reverse.
and the opposite, like inputs that I'm doing not
So
registering.
that's the thing that happened with that first Pro controller I bought as
Oh,
well.
really?
Well, just the inputs not registering for
Right.
the most part. And then I sent it to fucking Nintendo. Do you remember this?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
they made me pay to send it back
Oh,
and
I
shit.
love this
and
stuff.
they
said
claimed there was nothing wrong.
that there was nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
It was still there. Yeah, there was
Yeah.
Nintendo. And I know someone listens from Nintendo now.
Yeah.
You fucking stamp your feet in that lobby and kick shit. Don't do that. Why would I?
Just give him a new controller, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe
I think
that.
we went in there for a hands-on
I would have
event
gone in
not
and
long
stomped
after
my
this had
feet and
happened.
kicked shit like a child.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is like a more recent thing though.
Oh, it's like it's starting to get worse for people.
And so there's
or
now
more
a
common.
class action lawsuit.
I guess so. Like it seems like those left ones in particular are in some way defective.
Yeah, it's definitely the left one. It's because I was like doing heaps of that fitness boxing stuff. And it was throwing punches when I wasn't throwing punches.
Is that why your right arm is so much bigger than your left?
Yes.
And so they, in classic Nintendo style, have just sort of said nothing about it.
They have released
Oh,
a
they have?
statement
Oh.
now, I believe. Let me look up what that statement was.
It's a me, Mario. Interesting.
We did it, and we will pay you all $1 million. That's how much it's worth. No, I can't find it now, but they said so.
God.
But they addressed it in a very Nintendo-y way of going like, we don't want our customers to feel as though their product is bad. We try to make it all good.
Right. Here's 400 gold coins for the eShop.
Not even.
Wow.
Nintendo. I'm going to just type in Nintendo Drift statement.
You do that.
Yeah.
I told you we had more news. And I said it like we were ready.
Yeah. I thought this was the lightning round.
It is. In
This
the
is the
lightning,
slow drizzle round.
lightning never strikes twice, and I take twice as long to do it as anyone else. That's
Okay.
what lightning means, right?
Yes.
Here it is. At Nintendo, we take great pride in creating quality products, and we are continuously making improvements to them.
Do it in the voice.
Of Wario.
We are aware of recent reports that some Joy-Con controllers are not responding correctly.
Is that what Wario sounds like?
Kind of, yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
More Italian.
Okay.
We want our customers to have fun with Nintendo Switch. And if anything falls short of this goal, we are always encouraging them because they can do it.
To visit support.nintendo.com so we can help. Yeah.
So, right, their statement is just go to the fucking website, idiot.
Yeah, go through the process Adam did with his Pro Controller.
And we'll fuck it for you.
Probably
Yeah,
pay
exactly.
extra money and it'll take 6 months and
That
it
would
won't
be great
fixed.
if they name-checked Adam Knox in the statement.
Yeah.
If it's good enough for this guy, it's good enough for you.
Good, man,
Yeah.
that fucking made me so mad when they didn't figure out the thing that like,
Oh, we
and then I got
remember.
it back and I was like, maybe I'm crazy, and then it was just happening again immediately.
Yeah. Yeah.
And boy. Anyway,
That's gaslighting, baby.
Yeah, it is.
Nintendo did it to me, and I loved them.
What's the other fast piece of news?
Yeah, let me get back into the app.
Well, there is a new... We don't need to say much about this, but there is kind of a new Switch model, which is essentially just the current normal model of the Switch that's being sold from now on has an improved battery life in it.
Yeah.
Because it's got like a more economical processor, right?
Yeah.
Is the reason?
Something like
and
that.
it's a significant increase, apparently.
It's like extra 4 hours or something?
Oh, at the high end. So
Yeah.
like if you're playing Zelda, it goes from about 2.5 hours to 4 hours, something like that.
Right.
Which
right,
is
right.
pretty.
It's a
That's
decent
pretty
enough
good.
jump. I mean, it's like if you're getting one now, that's cool. I don't think it's worth
No.
quote unquote upgrading.
No. I don't even know if it would be possible because they're not taking the old ones off the market. So I don't know if you would be able to.
No. There is different packaging. I remember
Is there?
reading that. Yeah, there's
Okay.
different packaging. It's a different some fucking
It'll
thing.
just
but
say
yeah.
V2 on it or whatever.
It's like a different color or some shit like that. They definitely said it's visually different.
Yeah, I think it'll be. This is just how they're packaged and sold now.
Yeah.
I
But
But you
imagine
will
within a
still be
year
able to
you
get
won't-
those old ones, though, is
Yeah.
my point.
Right.
And, like, will they be a lesser price or something?
I think they'll just stop making them.
But there
'Cause
are
it's
some
the
out
same-
there already, is my point.
Yeah.
I know, but like they won't continue to make any new ones, and so within about
Right.
a year and a half, you won't be able to find them.
So in
shops.
that year and a half, what do they do?
Yeah, shouldn't they be
yeah, they just
cheaper?
have both. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah.
They should be cheaper.
Yes, absolutely they should.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
If you buy an old one and you don't realize, you'll be pissed off and
I'm
you'll try to
gonna
send it into support.
go to Nintendo and stomp my feet and start
Yeah.
kicking shit,
Yeah.
and that's how you get things done in this economy.
But then, yeah, if your grandma's buying you a Nintendo Switch for Christmas and she gets you a shitty one,
yeah, enjoy
At
your
least you-
PlayStation Vita.
yeah, at least you get a Nintendo.
That's probably about all that's worth saying here. There's a new Overwatch character. None of us.
Oh, I saw that advertised. Couldn't care less.
This is how the TV news should end. Just
Yeah.
What
just
else is
sort of
floating around?
Hitchner scrolling through his phone. Oh,
Yeah.
what else? So dog in a drain.
I saw Peter Hitchener the other day.
Really?
Yeah. On TV. No. At my job.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
That was interesting.
At the news. You work at the news now.
Yep.
Yes.
I make the news.
Yeah.
I'm the weatherman, and I do not know what to do.
All right, folks. Well, thanks for listening. That's going to do us for another week. We will be back with another classic episode next week.
Keep your eyes peeled for the history of Final Fantasy. We'll be promoting that on our socials.
Yep.
I think if you've ever bought any of the other band camps, you get an email about it. If you signed up for the mailing list.
If you've never been there, filthycasualspod.bandcamp.com.
That sounds right to me.
Yep.
If you're looking for it, if you're searching it on Bandcamp in the search bar, there's a few other Filthy Casuals. So put in
Yeah.
Filthy Casuals with our names.
Yep.
And it'll be up on Saturday.
Yep. So check that out. Very informative if you don't know much about the Final Fantasy games.
It really
very
is.
entertaining listen. You can support the show on Patreon if you would like to chip in a little money, keep the lights on around here. You get an extra episode every week.
You can hear our review of the city of Sydney.
Classic.
Yeah.
A classic bonus ep from us.
It was quite a good one. Big rant from Knox if you like rants. Or Knox.
I don't like either.
Filthycasuals.com.au for links to all that other stuff that we do. Thank you very much for listening. And as we say here at the end of every edition of Filthy Casuals...
Every which?
Oh, God.
Every when? Every what?
Oh, boy.
Can I hit stop?
Yeah.